Hi everyone. So today it's going to be kind of a different video. What I'm going to be talking about today is my law school experience. I'm currently a law school student. I'm a 2L student. What I'm going to be sharing with you is things that I wish I knew before I started law school. I don't have anybody in my family who's a lawyer, so I just figured things out as things came along. I didn't really have anyone who properly guided me or provided mentorship, and so I just wish that if there was a video like this that existed, I could just not learn the hard way in that sense. So yeah, let's just get right to it. I'm currently a 2L, which means that here in Canada it's a 3-year program. You're in your second year. I guess coming in as a first year student, it was very nerve-wracking. I guess it's kind of surreal because, at least for me, law school was always on my trajectory and it was something that I always wanted to do. And so actually getting accepted and then going to law school on my first day, you kind of get a sense of just like surrealness. But quickly that wore off. Just getting in is not enough. The competition continues, and I think that was one thing that I wasn't prepared for, and I didn't expect that once you got in, yes, you work hard, you get good marks, but the obstacle was getting in to begin with LSATs and your admissions and writing all your papers of why you want to go to this law school and all of that stuff that took a lot of time and energy. And then you get in and then you're like, okay, so now I can just breathe a bit. But no, again, it's like another competition of rankings. And rankings was something that I didn't know much about. I knew that marks mattered. For me, marks always mattered. Even if something was very, like, worth 10%, I always put my all into it. But the competition continues because you're ranked against your classmates, and rankings really impact your job prospects. And so everyone is kind of competitive in trying to get the best job, trying to make the most connections with profs so that they can write good reference letters. Often profs are also good networking people in the sense that they're heavily connected with other lawyers in the community. So all of this is going through people's head, which wasn't going through my head. You quickly realize that the competition just doesn't end and that you're competing against your classmates for jobs, for that attention, for everything. And for me, I'm not someone who likes being under that pressure and stress, especially if you're away from home to do your law school like I am. You don't really have that support or strength of your family with you. And so I think it's really important to make good friends and friends that you trust. So I think the competition aspect was one of the biggest things that I was not prepared for, and how that just hurts a sense of community with amongst your colleagues. You have to keep working hard, keep buckling down, keeping your eye out for opportunities, and unfortunately compete in that sense. So I think even before my first day of law school, we had orientation week, and even during orientation week, we hadn't even started a course yet. People were already asking about summer jobs for the next summer. And for me, that was shocking because that wasn't even crossing my mind, but that was crossing many people's minds. In terms of summer jobs, especially your first year job, your 1L summer job, if you can secure a good first year summer job, it's much easier for your second year summer. And that was something that I didn't know. Fortunately, I had a good 1L summer job experience, but those who really took the time to network and try to secure a first year summer job usually meant that they didn't have to do that again for their second year summer job because they could just go back to their first year summer job. And then if you're in Canada like I am, we have articling after your third year, and so that would just continue. So then again, you don't have to apply for articling because you can go back to that summer job. So I would put a lot of emphasis on finding a good 1L summer job. That doesn't necessarily mean that you have to have a lot of job experience. For me, that's not the case. I think it's just showing that you are adaptable, determined, and would be an asset to wherever place you want to work at, and showing that passion comes through. I guess along with that, would be, well, I know in your first year you don't really have much choice in the courses that you take, but along the way you do. And so in your second and third year, taking courses that demonstrate your interests so that you're not kind of, well, not lying, but so that you can actually show how this reflects in your everyday life. The challenging aspect of that for me was that in my 1L year, I took all the mandatory courses like I had to. And from those courses, you don't really get a sense of what the practice of that work is, right? You're just learning the theory. And for me, that was challenging because when you're now applying for, so you're always applying for jobs a year ahead of time. So in your first year, when you're just taking all your mandatory courses, yet you have to apply for summer jobs at that time, and all these firms do all this work that you have no idea what it's about. You don't really have a good sense of, should you be applying to those jobs? How about if it's actually interesting, yet you don't even know? So applying widely, of course, is always a good thing, but if you can kind of get a sense of what you like and what you don't like, and being open to a lot of areas. I know for me, I didn't know that I liked litigation, and by the time I found out that I did, the recruitment process is already over for many firms that do litigation. It's challenging. If had I known, I would have applied to those firms, but because I didn't know that litigation was something that I'm interested in, I didn't apply to those firms. Of course, marks matter, the courses that you take matter, but also I would say, at least from my experience, being involved in things outside of courses, or just the traditional sense of courses, like if you can get involved in a moot, that's super cool and super interesting. I know for me, I didn't even know what a moot was. When I was going on the tour of my law building before the year started, they're like, and this is the moot halls, and this is where you would do your moots, and this and that, and I'm like, I don't even know what they're talking about. I don't know what moots are. But in your first year, you have to do a moot, and then after that, you can, in your second or third year, you can do moots with that deal with specific practice areas, and it's pretty much a debate, but you have to submit usually a factum, and then you present your oral. You present that factum orally, or some variation of the factum orally, in front of judges. I think that if you can get into a moot, for that litigation experience of being able to feel like you're going to court and getting a fact pattern, and being on some sort of side, right, if you're representing the plaintiff or defendant or whatever the case is, and then actually like standing up and mooting about it, right, providing oral arguments and support and case law, all of that to make a convincing story as to why your side is right, is one of the highlights, I would say, of my law school experience. I really enjoy doing that, and it really demonstrates your interest. And so I would say that if you can be a part of a moot, if you think that that would be interesting to you, you should do it. And then I would also recommend clerkships. I know that clerkships is also something that I didn't know much about, or anything about, to be honest. And I've learned that they're actually an invaluable opportunity if you can secure a clerkship. And a clerkship is pretty much, you can do it for your articling. It's usually after your 3 years of law school. And you are a clerk in a court, and you can choose different courts, right? So obviously the highest is the Supreme Court. Usually they're more, the procedures and what you need to, what's the word I'm looking for? The standard is high, right? But then there's also trial level courts or appellant level courts that you can apply to. And regardless if public sector work isn't your thing, it's still invaluable to any firm or any practice that you do, because you get to build a relationship and connection with the court, with judges. You get to learn how they think, what they look for in cases, what stuck out to them. You see lawyers arguing in court. So it's just so much wealth and knowledge and information that you can gain from that, that regardless of wherever you want to work at, it's always an asset. So clerkships, I would say, really matter. In order to secure a clerkship, again, your marks really matter, and explaining and demonstrating why, apart from the prestiginess of a clerkship, why you want a specific clerkship at a specific court or whatever the case may be. I think that is all. I didn't want to make this video super long, and I don't know how interested people are or how they would find this video, but I'm open to doing more if people have questions and they want to reach out to me, because I would have loved to have this, and so if I could be any help in any way, I would love to give back. So yeah, let me know in the comments what you would like to see, or any questions or anything, and I'll respond back. Okay? Bye.